Lesson number 3, focus on a cash flow business and an aggressive portfolio in your 20s. If you are 20 years old, the main thing that you need to focus on is a cash flow business. For me, I've said it 101 different times. It's not very cool. It's not very sexy. It's very hands off when you find the right hand person. For example, for me, it's Danny. He's been working with me for 2018, 3.5 years, almost 4 years. Wow. So yeah, we've been working together for 3.5 years, initially as a contractor and then full time, and then taking on a more CMO role at my agency. So, is it a cool business, right? Like, is it as cool as having, for example, like a physical product like this? No, not at all, right? But it pays the bills. And I think that was something that I even struggled with. I'm like, I don't know, like this agency thing, like, there's more exciting stuff out there and blah, blah. And, the one thing that I'm always be grateful for is, just the consistency of the agency, the cash flow it provides me. And as I said, the agency isn't like the coolest business or whatever, but what is cool is the amount of money and the amount of free cash flow it makes you. And then you take that free cash flow, for example, in my case, towards the late end of 2020, I took a couple mil that I had saved up from the agency over the years. I took that, I invested it, and I turned it into over 8 figures after tax. Thank you, Dubai. And that is cool. And that's when you start having sort of, real athlete rapper money, right? Is when that can take the money from your cash flow business, right? So find any business where you make 500K to 2 million a year. And obviously if you can have a business that makes more money than that, great. But in terms of, I'm talking free cash flow. I'm talking as in like profits that you can actually then go ahead and invest. There's not too many businesses out there where you can make more than 2 million a year unless you have massive infrastructure, right? I'm talking where you actually invest in the business and then like invest a lot of time, resources in the business. You have a physical office, this, that. Like remote businesses, there aren't many where you can make more than 2 or 3 million a year profit. As I said, stop listening to revenue numbers. People tell you profit, okay? Actual free cash flow that you can take and invest. So the strategy, here's the game. Here's how you win the game. You find a business where you make 500K to 1.5, 2 million a year. You save, you take 70% and you invest it. So 70% of everything you make, you invest. The other 30%, you blow and you feel zero guilt, right? You can spend that money, right? Because you're in your 20s and you deserve it. And what will happen is if you do that consistently in your 20s, by the time you're 40, you should easily have, if you take the principles, so let's say you do a blended average of, let's say for 10 years, 750K a year for 10 years, right? 7.5 million. By the time let's say you do this process from the age of 25, by the time that you're 34, or let's say even 28, so 28 to 38, by the time, so you have 7.5 million in principal. And then as I said, you also have to go aggressive with your portfolio because at that age, you don't have much to lose, honestly. In your 20s and even your early 30s, you really don't have that much to lose, okay? If you take 7.5 million, it can very easily, and I'm not even talking about like, if you find something like cryptocurrency here, it can very easily turn into something like 15, 20, 30, 40, even 50 million just from 7.5 million in principal if you find the right investment opportunities. And it is about finding the right investment opportunities. I'm sick and tired of hearing all these idiot entrepreneurs talking about invest in your business, shut up. What are you talking about? You get to a point in your business where you make so much money where what are you going to do with that extra money? You're going to reinvest in your business just to make more money. And you get to a point where you can't really reinvest in your business because you'll spend money and then you get diminishing returns, right? And you especially think about that from an advertising perspective. I know basically my entire life has been based on advertising. That's what I do for a living, right? That's what I do for a living. That's what our agency does for our clients. And then we show other agency owners how to do that. Trust me. And then for both businesses, we even advertise to do that. So look, name of the game, find a business that provides you free cash flow. And then the most important thing is you take that free cash flow and you multiply it many, many times over with investments, okay? That is the name of the game. And I am stupid and knock myself, okay, for the fact that I only started doing that really properly a year ago, just over a year ago, right? Whatever, let's say 14, 15 months ago, something like that. Granted, before that, I was investing. I've always been big into watches, and, people wonder why the hell I've spent probably close to, I don't know, maybe like $1.2 million at this point on watches. Because my watch portfolio is worth like 2 million or 2.2 or something like that. Like I double my money with watches with a tangible item. That's a genuine hobby of mine. Like I actually love watches. I love horology. So yeah, my biggest regret and my biggest mistake is actually listening to a lot of people who are like, no, stockpile cash, reinvest in the business. But as I said, you get in certain businesses, you get to a point where what else are you going to reinvest in, right? And you need to understand what purpose that business serves in your life. For me, these are cash flow businesses, to then take that free cash flow and invest it. I have other businesses, for example, my software company. The goal of that business is not profit, right? The goal of that business is to build it to as big a valuation as humanly possible, right? So you need to understand, where different businesses slot into different aspects of your life. So that really is lesson number 3, is if you're in your 20s, build a cash flow business, which I had done. I was very successful at that. I built a couple of those. And most importantly, invest it in investment portfolio that is a little higher risk than normal. And especially in this current environment, you have to be stupid not to be investing money right now, right? The people who are getting right now, really, really are the savers, okay? The ones who are saving money right now are really the ones who are in trouble. Because the reason that literally any Rolex, the stuff that was literally, you could get discounts for, and I remember I was even getting discounts for some of these 2 years ago. The reason that you're getting, literally any of these watches, you walk out of the store and they're worth more than retail, is because everyone is trying to find a place to park their cash because no one wants cash right now, okay? So that is really lesson number 3.